Good morning. It's Friday, November the 20th, and this is The Drill. Thank you. The prayer of the day comes from me. Dear Lord, please open the eyes of rhinos and lead them to be true conservatives, not only for their benefit, but for the benefit of true conservatives and true Christians everywhere. Amen. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. Who is the true conservative? First and foremost, he's realistic. Secondly, he's God-fearing. The true conservative is the man who follows his plan. He's appropriate. He's the person that has the courage of his convictions and is confident in what he knows. He's the person that subordinates politics to reality. He's not selfish, but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He's patriotic and uses common sense. He is judgmental and moralizes. He refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He is open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he's better than the socialist. He's a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that being a true conservative is best, or you're wasting your time. Additional examples of what it means to be a true conservative can be heard by listening to the John and Ken Show, John Cobelt and Ken Champeau, on KFI AM 640 Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. My podcast is short, approximately 5 to 20 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to. The biggest socio-political influences in my life are my parents, my teachers, Hugh Hewitt, Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Dennis Prager, Buck Sexton, Joe Pags, the Enlightenment, Ayn Rand, and Dr. Mortimer Adler. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, YouTube, and now also on CastBox. I can be reached at thedrill12, thedrill12, all one word, at gmail.com. Today, where do we stand? The 5 Commandments, quote of the day, how to win, conservative vocabulary, how to think about the president's lawsuits, conservative aphorisms, socialist aphorisms, and socialist vocabulary. All that when I come back. Thank you very much. The biggest problem with the news, besides undeclared bias or their so-called claims of neutrality, is the lack of continuity. They report on a story today and it's gone tomorrow, and you're left wondering whatever happened to, like the fires. There's all these fires raging in California, and then all of a sudden we just quit hearing about them. Where are they? As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go look that up and find out if they've been put out yet. The last I'd heard, one of the fires in Southern California was actually still going last month. It started in August, and it was still going in October. But anyways, again, no continuity. And they say we have a short attention span. BS. They just don't bother to provide the continuity, because they're more interested in being first than being accurate. I decided to take issues facing the country and report on them daily until the story is complete. Hence, where do we stand? Rudy Giuliani and his team held a press conference yesterday or the day before yesterday outlining the case that there was widespread voting fraud in this election. He did not present the evidence because that's going to be saved for the courtroom, but he simply gave an overview of what the evidence was, that he has 20 affidavits from people who witnessed voter fraud. So he spoke unequivocally. So did a couple of his team members. They came out and said that this is the most egregious, flagrant, and worst case of voter fraud that they've ever seen. It was bold, and that it had even an international reach to it. So the presentation was impressive. It was professional, direct, and unequivocal. Donald J. Trump is still President of the United States. We, Republicans, have a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. Republicans have gained at least 8 seats in the House of Representatives. The Senate is currently 50-48 in favor of Republicans, with 2 races outstanding. By the way, the senators have the guts to ask us for more money, more donations to help win these races. Please call the Senate switchboard at the number that I will provide later on the broadcast and leave a message for your senator telling them that we will give donations when they give us a stimulus check. Republicans have 27 governorships to the Democrats' 23. Republicans control 55 of 99 state legislative chambers. Since it is the state legislatures that create the districts, the Democrats are in big trouble. President Trump has filed lawsuits in several states alleging voter fraud, and Attorney General Barr has authorized an investigation into that fraud. So, 4 more states have lost their mind and legalized the recreational use of marijuana, and the state of California is about to go completely insane by creating a ballot measure to decriminalize magic mushrooms, heroin, and cocaine. No, don't sign when you people in California, when you have somebody that wants you, one of these ballot signature gatherers. Don't sign it. Don't sign it. They're going to want to tell you, well, it's just to put it on the ballot. No, I don't want it on the ballot. I don't have to spend the money, time, and energy to try to defeat something that shouldn't be on the ballot in the first place. It's immoral. It's wrong. No. Period. But this is what the left does. It creates a foundation and then builds on it. We're in the position that we are in vis-a-vis drugs because several decades ago, morons conceded that marijuana was no different than alcohol or tobacco, and that marijuana even had medicinal uses. And by the way, I was one of those morons. So I have to apologize to everybody in the country today for going along with that stupidity. And they built on that. That the idea was that if marijuana is no different than alcohol or tobacco, why should it be illegal? And if it has medicinal uses, then maybe what we can do is just legalize it just for those medicinal uses. And so we ended up with the Medical Use of Marijuana Acts and referendums or initiatives. That's the word I'm looking for. So initiatives, and so then marijuana ends up getting snuck in through the back door, so to speak. And they build. Every time they get a success, they try to build on that success, and eventually we end up where we are with the recreational use of marijuana being legalized, and then now a follow-up with psilocybin, heroin, and cocaine. No news on the monster that's been arraigned for shooting 2 Los Angeles sheriff's deputies a few months ago. George Soros still is not dead yet. No law enforcement union has been decertified, and no laws shielding officers from prosecution have yet been repealed. And again, this means that the unions are going to continue their ways. They're going to look at things as, we're not the problem, but all this crappy society, a malevolent universe is the problem. And so officers need to have increased pay and benefits. They need to have increased weaponry and body armor, and all at the taxpayer expense, of course. And police officers are going to have to be more aggressive in their attitudes. So you can expect more police misconduct coming up. As long as the unions are in place, there will be more misconduct. There will be more George Floyds, not less, not fewer. And it's not going to end until the unions are gone. There's nothing else that's going to do. There's no compromises to be had here. Either we're going to satisfy ourselves with a corrupt society vis-a-vis policing, or we're going to say enough of this, decertify their unions, make police officers civil servants, and act like a civilization again. The Patriot Act is still the law of the land, the so-called Patriot Act, and it's the most unpatriotic piece of legislation, the biggest irony in politics. The New York Times v. Sullivan continues to encourage news people, so-called news people, to be super citizens who can use unnamed sources to slander or defame people at will without fear of consequences, something that the average person can't do. It should be overturned. Where is the expose on the Washington Press Corps? Where is nonprofit news? The communist flu continues. and it is, a matter of fact, supposedly getting worse. I don't see it. All I end up seeing really is the effects of politicians overreacting to this pandemic. That's what I get to see all the time. And I get to see Blue Cross and Kaiser Permanente escaping and profiting off of the pandemic by the shutdown. The only purpose for the shutdown is to save Blue Cross and Kaiser Permanente from having to honor claims. If thousands and thousands of people all rush to the hospital at the same time, those people are going to file claims with their insurance companies. And the insurance companies all of a sudden going to have a rather large bill. So apparently those insurance companies are concerned that they're not going to have enough money to settle those claims. And that's why they're telling the politicians to shut everybody down. And it's a shame, and it's Blue Cross. If you want to protest anybody, skip the governor. The governor's just a tool. Go to Blue Cross, go to Kaiser Permanente, and demand that they honor their claims and quit asking the politicians to do their bidding. Let's see what we got here. Governor Newsom's enacted a racist scheme to keep Californians locked down indefinitely. He's following the Alinsky model that says never let a good crisis go to waste. Not that there is such thing as ever as a good crisis, but anyhow, when I come back, conservative vocabulary. Thank you. There's more to being a conservative than how you vote. Conservatism is a lifestyle. It is a world outlook. And if you want to be a true conservative, you've got to act, think, and talk like a true conservative. Hence, conservative vocabulary. No. Go back. Acceptance. Mind your own business. From now on. Right. Wrong. Should. Good. Bad. Evil. Reality. Certainty. Morality. Beauty, and polity. These are terms the left doesn't want to use because they're realistic. How to win? Follow the conservative commandments. Number 1, thou shalt not answer stupid questions. Number 2, thou shalt not be pragmatic. Number 3, thou shalt not be idealistic. Number 4, thou shalt not subscribe to the cult of expertise or the cult of neutrality. And number 5, thou shalt mind thine own business. When some lefty gives you the business about supporting Donald Trump's efforts to unrig the election, you just tell them, hey, we're following Hillary Clinton's advice when she said, never concede. The quote of the day, reason is not automatic. Those who deny it cannot be conquered by it. Do not count on them. Walk away. And those she's talking about are the lefties, the socialists in this country. They deny reason, they deny reality, they deny knowledge, they deny morality. By the way, that's the reason that their policies, their ideas often, as a matter of fact, always backfire. As conservatives, we make the presumption for the status quo, and we change only when there's an obvious or prima facie case for change. However, many of the changes that our civilization have seen have been forced on us through guile and trickery. The following is a list of ideas, concepts, and abstractions that should be brought back. Bring back sanity. In our society today, we value, believe it or not, insanity. We value crazy. How many times do we applaud and cheer and smile and say, wow, that's crazy. How crazy is that? Stop and think about that. Privacy. Privacy is the foundation for all of the other rights. Okay? Because privacy is the reason we want property and have property rights. And property rights support, look at the first 10 amendments, what they call the Bill of Rights. The vast majority are outright property rights. The right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. Searches of what? Your property. Seizure of what? Your property. So, and if the left can convince you that you have no reasonable expectation of privacy, then what do you need private property for? Think about it. Bring back the pre-1970 filibuster. Bring back outlawry. If you're going to go out and flaunt the law, you shouldn't expect it to be protected by the law. Bring back single-income households, integration, parenting, and along with it, corporal punishment. The primacy of existence, certainty of knowledge, and universal rights and wrongs. Bring back principled behavior, masculinity and femininity. Adam 12, John F. Kennedy, the gold standard, pre-HMO medical care, nonprofit news, civil service, the term stupid question, arguments and fights, the cultural influence of the church and the Boy Scouts. Bring back the Lions Club and the Rotary Club. Bring back bowling. Bring back linear thinking. Bring back smart. Be of good cheer. The universe is benevolent and success is to be expected. Therefore, the left has no authority, no power, and they cannot win. Think about it. How to think about the president's lawsuit. I listened to a press conference the day before yesterday by Rudy Giuliani in which he and his team laid out their case that this election was fraudulent. As a matter of fact, I think it was yesterday. But anyways, and that the real winner was President Trump and that he won by a landslide. And I heard this on Rush Limbaugh's show. He played the news conference on his show. Mr. Giuliani said that they have witness affidavits and that at the time of the vote, at the time of the vote was stolen. Wait, affidavits, and at the time of the vote, they have, I don't know, I miswrote this anyways, that they have affidavits and that the vote was stolen, is what I think I'm trying to say here. President Trump had an 800,000 vote lead. Oh, that's what I'm saying is they have witness affidavits and that at the time that the vote was stolen, President Trump had an 800,000 vote lead. There we go. If anyone tells you that there's no evidence, you tell them there's plenty of evidence. The attempt to impeach the president is evidence. The Ukraine investigation is evidence. All of the slander and lies that the left has attempted to perpetrate are evidence. Hillary Clinton telling everybody that Biden should never concede is evidence. It's all evidence of intent. They intended to cheat, they cheated, and we know it. And we know they cheated because they threatened to cheat, they promised to cheat. You could hear it in their voices, and you could read it on their faces. Conservative aphorisms. Why? Who asked you? Who cares? Who's we? Are you sure? How do you know? No, you don't understand. No, you are not listening. No, you're not a leader or a change agent. Who died and left you in charge? Who told you that? You don't know? When are you going to figure it out? And my personal favorite, get off of my lawn. Socialist aphorisms. Subvert the dominant paradigm. Question authority. Question everything. Coexist. Up next, socialist vocabulary. Thank you very much. Since nobody wears uniforms, how do you identify the socialists in your midst? By their vocabulary. Socialist vocabulary includes such words as stakeholders, Latinx, empower, going forward, mansplaining, politically correct, supportive, hegemony, organic, grassroots, code word, dog whistle, buy-in, pushback, stuck on stupid, walk it back, and the masses. The ICE tip line is 866-347-2423. The White House switchboard is 202-456-1111 for comments, or 202-456-1414 if you want to talk to your House member or senator. the White House. Talk to somebody specifically at the White House. The Senate/House switchboard is 202-224-3121. So I'd encourage you to call that switchboard number, 202-224-3121, and see if you can go ahead and leave a message. You'll probably not be able to talk to your rep or your senator. If you can, great. If not, leave a message that says, to the effect, when are we going to get our stimulus check? When are we going to have a stimulus bill? When is it going to be done? If you have to, tell them to get off their dead ass, get to work, and get this done. And tell them, you get no funds from me. Don't come to me for donations of any sort until I get a stimulus check. Back in a minute. Thank you very much. Who is the socialist? He's the man that seeks consensus rather than develop his own opinions. He's subjective, petty, and small, taking everything in life personally. He's outrageous, boring, and rude. He pretends to be a leader and a change agent. He's manipulative. He is sly, cunning, and deceptive. He dresses, acts, and speaks like a child. He is informal and terminally unique. He is childish and pretends that he knows nothing. He is pragmatic and ignores his conscience and pretends that might makes right and that the ends justify the means. He acts randomly and rationalizes his behavior, deterministic, blaming others for his mistakes, skeptical, demanding that others solve his problems. His unreasonableness and irresponsibility make him a bad role model and a bad father, brother, family member, friend, and a bad person, period. So if you think you should be friends with a socialist, think again. That concludes another episode of The Drill. Be honest, be smart, be beautiful, and always ask yourself, what is real? How do I know? And what should I do about it? I'm Ron, and that's The Drill.